You're listening to a DM podcast.
We would like to acknowledge and give thanks to the traditional owners of the land we record this podcast on, the Yagara and Turrbal people,
and their continued connection to the land and waterways on which we meet. Hello and welcome to Sportish, where we look at life through the lens of sport. I am Libby Trickett.
I'm Georgie Trickett, and yesterday I made a bit of a fool of myself at an event.
I'm so glad you haven't told me this before.
No.
These are my favourite types of conversations.
Yeah. So I was at a function for a sport, which we will talk about more next week because it was absolutely fabulous. And because it was Sunday, I'd already been at cricket. I'd scored for 3 hours. I'd dropped my kids off to my mum to look after them because my husband was away. And I was in a hurry.
Like, it's just always logistical nightmares.
It's just I'm a logistics manager. That is my actual title. Yes. Anyway, so I get to where I was going. I was a bit late for this function that was starting. And someone was also coming in at the same time. And I was like, hi. You know how you sort of make that acknowledgement of, we're both a bit late. And sort of we got allowed through one door and then we went up some stairs and we got greeted by the people who were running the event. And I picked up my tag and then they gave me a pink wristband essentially so that I knew where I could go and people knew that I was allowed to go there. And the gentleman who had come in with me didn't pick up his pink wrist tag.
Oh.
And I was like, oh. And the person who was handing them out said, would you mind giving that to him? And I was like, no, not at all, because that is who I am as a person, right?
Yes.
I am the rule follower. We have to wear a tag. I will wear the tag.
It's so true. I never wear the tag.
No, you wouldn't. You're such a rebel. You don't wear the annoying wrist tag that you can never take off. I was like, I'll put it on because that helps the events people, blah, blah, blah. So then I come into the room and I still have no idea who this person is. But I found him amongst a sea of people and I said, the people at the front just said you're missing this, so I'll pass it to you.
Yeah.
It turned out that was the Minister for Sport.
Tim Mander?
Yes. Whose name I have seen, but whose photo I have never seen.
That's so funny.
The minister probably doesn't need to have a pink wristband at the event.
I don't feel like he does. I think he's okay.
And I feel stitched up by those events people.
You were definitely stitched up by them. But good on you for following the rules.
I'm such a rule follower to my detriment.
Oh, that's brilliant. And you're running late like the politicians do.
Oh, exactly.
That's your vibe,
I look so professional.
You nailed it. No, you're like a politician now. Probably should know his name now.
I do know his name. I just didn't know his face.
So good.
Sorry, Tim Mander.
Apologies. Happy to have you on the podcast anytime. Please, anytime.
I'm so happy to host you now that I have not formally met you, just been that embarrassing person.
And we absolutely will not make you wear a pink wristband.
Never. No, not once. So Melbourne hosted 3 or 4 days of the most incredible car carnival. That's what I'm going to call it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a beautiful way to describe it. And Melbourne was doing Melbourne things.
What do you mean by that?
In terms of weather.
Oh, yes. So the weather, I think, leading up to it had been hot.
Hot and sunny.
So sunny.
Like very unlike Melbourne.
Like Australian Open type tennis weather.
Yeah.
So it had been great racing and it had been interesting watching everyone turn up at the paddock, which is what they call it, in their long sleeve, long legged gear on
I don't think they were
steaming hot Melbourne day.
Prepared for it.
And of course, all the content coming up through social media was all the bits.
Yes.
To get the drivers to show their personalities and be, more than just a car racer.
Max Verstappen being Max Verstappen, just not giving an absolute
he's a car racer. That's all he wants he's to just do. You can see him sitting there going, oh, this is just the worst part of my job.
Yeah. And my favorite line that I heard someone ask him, it was like, so it looks like it's going to be wet on race day. What is that going to be challenging for you? He's like, yeah, it'll be slippery when wet.
Gives nothing.
That was it.
Yeah, move on. Next question.
I mean, that's the perfect answer because, yes.
Well, and can I say Max was spot on in his prediction?
Absolutely spot on.
Never have I watched so much carnage.
Oh my gosh.
And the carnage started before the actual race.
Because I've only really ever watched Drive to Survive.
What did you learn about car racing over the weekend?
It's like, what is this lap? So it turns out there's a formation lap, which they do obviously to warm up. Well, not obviously. It wasn't obvious to me, but they do it to warm up the tyres and the brakes.
Yes.
So that people can be ready for go time.
For racing.
Lights out.
Lights out. That's the word I was looking for. I'm like, what's the word they said? Lights out.
So I had no idea that was a thing. On the formation lap, there was immediate carnage.
The driver, Isaac Hajar, spun out and hit a wall in that formation lap. That is how slippery and wet the track was. And that poor bastard. Like, he's a rookie, first year.
Turn 4. It was like the fourth turn. And your very first race of Formula One, and you don't even get to start. He did not start.
It was gut-wrenching to watch. And we posted to our Sportish socials the video of Lewis Hamilton's dad, Alexander. Is his name? Hang on. Is his name Alexander Hamilton?
Anthony, isn't it? I think it's Anthony. I mean, if it's
Alexander
not,
Hamilton. I don't think it's Alexander. What an amazing crossover if it
that'd
was.
Be incredible.
Why has no one thought about this? Lewis Hamilton's dad consoling Isaac.
It was beautiful.
I was just, you watched and you couldn't help but feel the emotion that poor kid would be feeling.
Well, because like the images that was coming out was literally his hands in his visor, just like clearly inconsolably crying. And like he's so young, you just go, I
mean, he might not even have his license. I'm not sure.
But he's like the heightened emotions, not just of being a teenager.
Yes.
But like in a formula car, to think of all the like guilt and shame. You're like, I've let everyone down. And
I hope he feels better now, because by the end of the race, the only rookie left, and throughout the race, I think 5 or 6 cars went into the wall, including Carlos Sainz, who was
also in the formation lap, wasn't it? Or in the first couple of laps?
Carlos Sainz went into the wall during a safety lap.
The safety lap. That's right.
So there were multiple safety laps throughout the race.
That's right, because Isaac went into the wall and then he and another one went into the wall during the safety lap.
During the safety lap.
While they were cleaning up.
Cleaning up from someone's accident. There were more that went into the wall. Every rookie except for Kimi Antonelli fell out of the race at some point.
Can we quickly talk about Kimi Antonelli?
Toto has nailed that shit so good.
I just loved how he's so small. And
he's so tiny. He's just because he's still at school.
He's 18 years old and he's tiny. And you see him next to Toto, who's obviously very tall.
Yes.
And you just go, oh, look at you. They're cute. And what I loved, though, was the way that I've heard Toto describe him multiple times as a monster. When it comes to racing,
so cool.
It's like when it comes to racing, he is a monster. And I'm like, I can't wait to watch this guy.
And he was phenomenal to show that level of composure in such a challenging race.
He finished 4th.
Yes. So apparently, I think when he actually, because we watched it, this is now family viewing for our family.
We love it.
My eldest at one stage was yelling at the TV about them needing to do a tyre change. And I just looked over and went, gosh, we've come so far.
Yes, I know.
And my eldest girl is happy to talk about motor racing and is sitting there asking her dad about the different types of tyres.
Why are they changing?
Yeah. What does that mean?
Put the inches on.
But at some point there came up a note that the stewards were reviewing him for something that happened possibly behind a safety car or in one of the situations. And so he got docked and he got put down at 5th as the race closed. But I think he then got re-promoted to 4th.
I think Toto sent an email.
Who's going to argue with an email from Toto? Okay, Toto. I think you're right.
Yeah.
We've considered your application and yes.
What was awesome was that Alex Albon, who was 5th and then 4th and then 5th again, was that he's in Williams, which is owned by Mike Cannon-Brooks, who
Atlassian,
Australian, amazing guy. Anyway, he placed 5th, and they were like, what was it, like
nowhere.
9th overall last year as a team.
So Williams, I think we've spoken about this a couple of weeks ago. They brought on Toto's old offside.
James Vowles, which I'm obsessed with also.
So James Vowles is amazing. He was the one who secured Carlos Sainz into the Williams team. And I think that combination of a really good team principal, a really great driver, a really great car and a really good technology partner, and all of a sudden...
And like probably a bunch of money from it last year.
And a bucket load of money.
That probably helps.
Let's talk about the actual thing.
Yeah.
The money, honey,
Yeah,
that's come into it. And all of a sudden it's a completely different ballpark that they're operating in.
I was so bummed not to see Carlos properly race yesterday. I thought
know.
that would have been awesome.
I feel like Carlos also equally would have been disappointed because
he likes to race.
It'll be interesting to see what he can achieve in that car.
Yeah.
I thought watching that race, because we had been out that afternoon, we watched it on a replay. We watched the whole way through. And I had before listened to Roy Masters on Offsiders talk about how sport is the last sort of entertainment product where you just don't know what the outcome's going to be. You can't predict it. And then to watch that race and just watch all these cars spinning off the track.
Well, because Oscar Piastri,
we haven't talked about Oscar.
Great Australian, who is with McLaren, who seems like they have a epic car this year.
And he's just signed a contract extension. It's like a $41 million contract and he's 20-something.
Yeah, amazing. Lando Norris went on to win.
Piastri sat in second for most of the race.
I know. I saw him say 56 and a half laps. It was excellent. And then all of a sudden he spun out. He made one mistake and that cost him.
He ended up on the grass and I know nothing about cars. I couldn't understand what was happening. And because of the way that driving works in those cars, he couldn't get the car to move off the grass.
It was too wet.
It was,
and he was on slicks.
It was. He had to reverse. He had to put it into reverse, which apparently he learnt on Jeremy Clarkson's farm.
Brilliant. When
he was driving a tractor there.
Amazing.
And those skills came in handy. But the part that I loved watching that, obviously there was absolute devastation in our house when Piastri came off the track, was the fact that the crowd on that corner was cheering him up and they were like, come on.
Because he was so lucky he didn't get onto the wall. Like he didn't hit the wall and he was able to continue the race.
He finished in the points.
Yeah, so amazing.
So impressive. But they were all up and cheering him on. And when the car got back onto the tarmac, it was
stoked.
Up roar of applause to see this kid continue to drive. And he went from then being, I think, 16th or 17th. At that point, there were still that many cars in the race. To 9th or 8th.
Yeah, it was incredible.
He got in front of Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, which, that's another conversation.
Yeah, poor
Charles and Lewis. Come on, Ferrari.
Yeah, I don't know. I just find
it so fascinating that the cars can be so different each year.
Yes.
So different.
So much technology is involved in this sport that we don't understand. And like you said, the money makes the difference.
Makes a massive
And Ferrari have spent a lot of money on the driver. And whether that's going to come back to haunt them, who knows?
Yeah. I know for us, I'm going to be watching more actual races this
year. So I can see us falling into a bit of a habit of watching it, at least the KO Mini.
Yes.
On a Sunday or a Monday, depending on where it's being raced. Next week it's in China because all three children and my husband and I were very engrossed with. And I've learned that like cricket, you have it on and you can go and do other things.
Yeah, you dip in and out.
You don't have to sit with it in front of it the whole time.
Yeah, it's so cool. It was, I really enjoyed watching it.
Fascinating. So should we talk about the actual drama?
I mean, it was the Drive to Survive documentary.
How far through it are you?
I've just watched the Leclerc curse.
Oh, I haven't got that far yet.
Leclerc Le Curse.
I've got up to Carlos Sainz, which was a very good use of words, punny words, because it was all about
it's
signing.
Spelled SIGNS.
Correct.
As in signing a contract.
Yes, and that's what it was all about. And it was engaging and it was like I didn't know the outcome, even though I knew the outcome.
Yes.
Tell me all your thoughts so far.
Honestly, I think it always for me comes back to access. I cannot believe the access that happens through this documentary process. And I live for it because it's just so fascinating to see the ins and outs. And there was a couple of bits that I identified, particularly in that episode, where I was like, I just feel like they've dummied this up or they've edited it in a way that was a bit.
It suited the narrative.
It suited the narrative or created more of a suspense moment. specifically where James vows and they kind of made out that Carlos didn't turn up.
Oh, this was the Carlos. Oh, sorry, I thought we were in Leclerc's episode.
No. I'm talking about Carlos Sainz.
Yes, in that episode, I was like, is that what really happened? I mean, I was sitting on the edge of my seat.
No, same. I was like,
what do you mean he didn't turn up?
I can't believe he didn't turn up.
So rude.
Like that one felt a little bit
Staged.
a tiny bit staged. But then you see these other bits where, so the one that I've just watched with Leclerc, they're on the kind of bus parading around, obviously before the race, and Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas and Charles Leclerc are all talking. And I don't think any of them are mic'd up, but there's obviously boom mics that are picking up these conversations. And it's like the teasing that happens behind the scenes and the kind of jokes, but like kind of.
Do you think they forget often that the cameras are there?
Yeah, it feels like that.
Wow.
But then also in the one that I just watched, like this was the night before it seemed like it was the night before the race. And it's like they're in Charles Leclerc's house with his girlfriend and his dog, and he's like eating his dinner before the race. It's just like, it's so fascinating.
As a racer, would you have ever let a film
I don't
crew?
know.
I mean, not as a car racer, as a swimming racer.
As a swimming racer. I don't know. That's what I find so fascinating and so interesting. And you can kind of, you know, there are definitely moments where you can feel the forcedness of the conversation between the two people that might be there. But
yes, like that the conversation has been staged for the purposes of the camera.
Can you just ask Charles how he's feeling kind of thing? But other times, like, it's so interesting. And like, I found out so much about Charles Leclerc that I had no idea about. I didn't know his father had passed away when he was a lot younger. Like, there's all of these things, like meaningful experiences that have shaped these people and show why particular performances or particular achievements are so important to them.
Yeah.
And that's just what I bloody love.
Do you think the format is getting tired? Because obviously now we're up to season 7.
I don't think so.
No, I know. So
what are your thoughts?
Well, I was gripped, and it's little things that jump out at me throughout the episodes that I find interesting. Like George Russell does those interviews wearing thongs.
Yes, I know.
I was like, he's a very smart schmick kind of guy. And so to me, that was a sort of.
But he's also an athlete.
But he's an athlete. I mean, you came up through the era of people just living in Masseurs.
Massies were the go-to, or Ugg boots. My Uggies, I wore to Carindale more than once.
I was fascinated, like I said, the little things. Kimi Antonelli coming into the shot for the first time with Netflix, and he's so young that his head sits below the camera.
Again, I think that was very beautifully staged.
But tells a really important story.
So I thought the same thing. I was like, that's brilliant. Well done, production.
It was clever. I found it fascinating that no one's talking about Perez in any of those driver, like looking to pick up the drivers. No one's gone, oh, Perez will be available.
That's interesting. I wonder if that'll come up in one of the future episodes.
I'm interested to see if that comes up. I'd love to know if Toto gave us the pep talk like he gave George Russell. Yes. Would we improve?
I think I would.
I was like, I'm ready to go, Toto.
I'm ready.
Tell me what you need me. I'll march on.
I'm ready to race.
I know from having listened to a podcast, Toto does free diving, and he was meant to do the free diving in that George Russell episode.
Yeah.
But he did his ear.
Oh,
and he was so bummed.
I wondered why we didn't see any footage of him in the water.
He couldn't do it.
I mean, we did get a nice shot of him in the wetsuit, so that was acceptable to me. I don't think it's a tired format because there are just continuous revelations about the people because they're
the storylines, and then
they're
you
sharing
have
more. But also, every bloody race is so different and varied and like
unscripted, and you get new characters every season.
Correct.
So, and particularly this season, there are so many rookies that have come in.
I thought
they could explore that for another 2 years.
I'd be interested to hear your thoughts about the very first episode, which was Christian Horner and all of the drama that kind of went on with that. I don't feel like they did.
They didn't go deep on it.
Correct.
But that's not their style.
No,
it's not an investigative format.
No, I know, and they can't really get people offside and
because that then impacts their access.
Correct.
And also those allegations I don't think were ever
they got dropped.
They were unfounded, so it puts Netflix.
Well, I don't know if they were unfounded, but they got dropped.
They got dropped, and I think that probably puts Box Productions in a tricky.
Is that what their actual name is?
Yep.
Brilliant. I was like, did you just make that up?
And I was interested to read about how their process works. They collect a lot of footage over each of the weekends, and then they come together and they talk about the storylines that they're seeing from each of the different races, and then from there the stories emerge.
Yes.
So they don't go into those seasons necessarily knowing how it's going to unfold.
Correct.
They have to sort of thread through.
I do applaud them that their very first episode
they had to address it.
Was the Christian Horner stuff. So like I thought that was good. The part of me was like, I wish they could have gone a little bit deeper, but I also understand.
They're not going to. He's one of their main characters.
I know. He's my least favorite character this year.
Oh, wait and see. I don't know.
Your jury's out.
I'm only halfway through. I'm not ready to call it yet. Lib, I'm really excited because for the first time in ages, we have some people in the studio.
In studio, Georgie.
With us. And they're students from St Aidan's who have been doing a little project that we've just done some work with them on. And while we had two bright young things in the studio, we wanted to ask them a few questions about sport.
Yes, because obviously it's actually something we haven't done for ages.
Such a long time.
I was thinking this morning. I was like, we really need to ask that question that we love to ask, which is, why do you love sport? And so we thought, while Lexi and Emily were here in studio with us, that we would take the opportunity to ask them that exact question. So welcome, Lexi and Emily.
Hello. Hi.
Don't be shy.
Emily, let's start with you. What is it about sport that you love?
I love like how you have a community in sport and like how you can always find a friend and that type of stuff. So yeah.
And Lexi, what about you?
I love getting out to exercise, and it's like, because my touch footy team, we're like so close, it's almost like a second family every time I go play with them. So
that's beautiful.
And what sports do you girls play?
Well, I do weightlifting with my dad, but I also did gymnastics for like 12 years when I was younger. So yeah, it's definitely like been a big change from gymnastics.
That's a really interesting sport for someone quite young. How did you get into weightlifting?
Well, my dad, he goes to a gym, and I don't know, I just went one day and I saw people doing it and I was like, I want to try that. And I thought it was really cool, and I've gotten into it. So yeah.
And do you feel like strong and powerful when you're lifting the weights, or like what is the exciting thing about that for you?
Well, it is exciting, but like sometimes you have bad days and sometimes you have good days. So on good days, it's really good that you're like, I've hit that. That's really good. But sometimes on bad days, you're like, that's a bit annoying. I didn't hit that.
Yeah.
Sort of stuff. So yeah.
And Lexi, you're playing touch football.
Yeah.
What is it particularly about that sport that you love so much?
probably just getting out on the field and playing with like all my friends, because Dad he still plays, but I think I sort of got into it from him. Like my brother also plays as well. And yeah.
I love that. It actually speaks so much to the role that dads have in influencing what sports not only their sons play, but the sports that their daughters play too.
Yeah.
Girls, thank you so much for joining us today. We can't wait to hear how you go on your assignment.
Miss Phillips, I think it's an A+.
It's an A, surely. Thanks, girls.
Thank you.
So, Georgie, I saw the most magnificent clip on social media last week, and it was a coach that I know very well. His name is Michael Bohl. He is one of the all-time great swimming coaches that we have had here in Australia. He's currently in a gap year trying to work out whether he wants to continue.
I love that for him.
To put it in perspective, like the amount of not only gold medals at the Olympic Games that he has achieved through his athletes, but the enormous amount of swimmers that he has gotten onto Australian teams, Olympic teams, is just phenomenal. So a lot of people would know Dean Boxall. He has also got a phenomenal amount of athletes on the team. He was Bowley's kind of assistant coach.
Right-hand man.
For a number of years. Bowley is epic. Like, he's one of just the nicest guy, incredible. But what I really wanted to play for our listeners today is this clip that he is talking about how to navigate putting pressure on athletes and when
to push and when to sit back.
Correct.
Let's take a listen.
Not trying to overdo it with the young athletes. Like if you have a 10 or 11-year-old that's showing a lot of talent, my advice is to not give them too much. If they can keep improving, doing the least amount of work, you've got to put the handbrake on them a little bit. But we want the athletes staying in the sport till they're 27, 28. Emma just finished the last Olympics at 30. So we want that journey to last a longer time. And I think swimming's one of those sports where it's very in your face. You've got a scoreboard, and on that scoreboard, it's your time. If you're playing in a footy team, the win or the loss is shared by the other 14 or 15 people that are in that team. But swimming, it's you against the clock. So it's a lot of pressure to be there from 8 years of age all the way through to 28. There's a lot of pressure. And I think the more pressure that's put on a younger athlete too early, the less likelihood there is of them being successful as they get older. So I think, it's a real journey. I don't really like that journey word, but it is a journey. One of the other sayings we've got on the squad is failure is the fertiliser of success. I like seeing swimmers fail a little bit from time to time because I think the ones that go on and do really good things, they've experienced that failure. They didn't like it and they've done something about it.
I would love to know what your thoughts are, George.
Oh, I mean, infinite wisdom from someone who has been there and who has coached thousands of teenagers and 10, 11, 12-year-old. He speaks with the experience of somebody who has seen what works and what doesn't. And he's got it completely right.
I particularly loved how he was like, try and see them still improving at 10 and 11, 12, but with the least amount of work possible.
I love hearing that from an elite coach.
But that's what I mean. Like he coached Stephanie Rice to 3 Olympic gold medals and 3 world records in 2008 at the Beijing Olympics. Like this guy knows his shit.
Yeah. And we see it in not just swimming, in lots of different sports, this urgency that starts to happen where people are panicking, coaches are panicking, parents are panicking, that their child isn't developing fast enough.
Correct.
And isn't doing enough of the work to make it.
But that's what I find so important to talk about, because the ones who are successful, they do it in a way that is progressive. It doesn't all need to happen at the one time. And often if you put that much pressure and do it all at once, they fizzle out.
Like any of us, you burn out if you go too hard too early.
Mm.
I think the idea that you also have to hold them back.
No, I love that.
Is a really important point
Yes.
as well, because often there's a particular type of personality in a kid who just will do
who wants to go after
who
it.
wants to do all of it and will hear what their coach is saying and they're a pleaser and they're keen.
I have one of those.
They want to perform and they will want to do all of it. And it feels so non-instinctual, that's probably not a great word to describe it, to sit there and say to your child, I don't think you need to do all that, because you're then challenging their relationship with their coach.
Yes.
And you're asking them to defy a parent coach-like figure. And as parents, we have to be really comfortable to say to the coach, my child's only available for 2 sessions this week.
Yeah.
Again, because I'm a pleaser, I sit there going, I don't want to disappoint the coach who's not my coach because I'm an adult.
Yes. But my child's coach.
But I'm going to set the boundaries for what's right for my family. Now, that's tricky in the context of teams because, the team is more than just the individual athlete. It is something that I think that you are able to enforce more easily
Absolutely.
in individual sports.
Yes.
And I think parents need to hear this stuff and know they have permission to do that.
And also almost more important in individual sports because it is so in your face.
Well, and that
with the
exposure
performance.
point was so interesting. I hadn't thought about it. Well, I probably had thought about it in that my tendency is towards the more team-based sports because I like the sharing, and the sharing comes with the wins and the losses.
Yes, exactly.
And he's so right with that individual focus. It's all
so much
you.
more intense. Like the intense.
You're such intense people.
We are. But I'm like, yeah, Molly, yeah. The second part of that clip where he said failure is the fertilization of
wasn't
success.
that brilliant?
And I'm just, if you look at the best athletes in the world who have gone on to perform at the very highest level, more often than not, they have had some sort of spectacular failure or just consistent failures over the course of their career that has led them to the place where they were capable of doing these amazing things. And it's a good reminder for me because sometimes I go, are we doing the right thing by kids by, telling parents to pull back?
I know. It's a big I feel a level of responsibility that we say
you don't want to feel like
we don't want to stuff up Australian sport.
No, of course not. But I have felt so confident in this point.
And also it's supported by the research.
It's absolutely supported by the research. I felt like I knew it intuitively. But to hear an elite coach who has coached athletes to the highest level and is talking about allowing these athletes to perform not just at 17, 18, 19, 20, but all the way through to 28 to 30.
To an Emma McKeon level.
To an Emma McKeon, like the idea that these athletes, particularly female athletes, might actually go on to 30 plus.
It's amazing.
Like that's what we want because then we'll see continuous improvement and
a love of a sport.
Most importantly, the love of the sport and not ending with bitterness and despair because, they've been ground to a pulp.
We need to do a bit of a Mel Robbins here and say, if this conversation is something you think a friend needs to hear, could you please share this conversation with them? Because we know that there are parents out there who need to hear. And
feel that pressure. Feel the pressure from coaches, from sports, from other parents, from their child to be doing more. And they don't. If you're seeing your child improving,
that's enough.
That's all that it needs to be right now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Sportish. We absolutely love hearing from you, and we've been getting some great emails and DMs from the Sporties. I would particularly like to thank one of the Sporties who emailed me and said, you didn't have the Shakespeare thing all wrong. You didn't come from nowhere on that.
I love that you didn't get corrected, but you got slightly corrected.
I got slightly,
you got fact checked.
No, because you fact checked me on the spot and you were right to do so because I had it all wrong. But 10 things I hate about you was based on
Taming of the Shrew.
Thank you. Yes. I didn't have it all wrong. I just had my 90s movies incorrect.
And you know what? Fair enough.
There were so many of them at that time. Good. They were great. They were great. We've also received so many DMs lately about grading, and we know that's a big thing for lots of families, and we really appreciate some feedback. We got some from coaches as well. That was really interesting, and we shared that on our stories. We might create a little collection on our Instagram, so if you missed any of that, you can go and catch it up. Keep those things coming in. We want to make sure this content resonates with you guys. Share it with a friend. Yes. Please review us. Like if you can give us some stars and then write a little review, that really just helps other people find this little podcast we do.
The little podcast that could.
We will catch you next week.
Okay, bye.
Should we do this again?
I think so.
Let's do it again.
Why not?
Bye.
Bye.